Good morning, everyone. It's about first thing in the morning. Well, it's 6:13 right now. You can probably see nothing of me. You can probably basically not see anything of me. It's the middle of the night for some of you, 6 o'clock, I know. Some of you late sleepers. You're up, you're watching something, you are watching something good on TikTok. You've been watching a great YouTube video about Voices of the Void, a slow burning free horror game that I am playing when I get the opportunity. A morning like this sees me on my way to the gym. I wake up now. I've had a little bit of change of plans, a little slight change of schedule, and these days I wake up, for at least for the next 4 months, I'm going to be waking up at 5:45, going to the gym, coming home probably 6:30. So yeah, it's kind of a good feeling to have a very full day, I think. Getting into the habit of trying to get 9 hours sleep a night. I can usually get 8 by falling asleep at around about 10:30, waking up at around about 6:30. En ce moment, that's French for at the moment, if you don't know. I'm trying to get to sleep at around about 9, so, well, maybe even 2:15, so that I can wake up at 5:45 and have enough time to get out the door, get to the gym, do a full workout and run a 5k. Now, can he do it? He better. Fucking better. He's paying enough to do it. But he must. Why am I going to the gym? Why am I getting lean? Why am I building my muscle out? Because for most of my life I've been obese. I was obese as a child, probably from the age of about 10, up until, I say most of my life, definitely most of my not adult life, but meaningful life, if that makes sense. So when I was a child and I didn't have sort of much say in the matter, I was probably in fine shape. I was probably alright. Probably, up to about 9 or 10 years old. It was fine. Then I started on the way to, probably from school, I was drinking a lot of Monster. I wasn't participating in any clubs like rugby, something that was quite popular at my school. It was a grammar school, you see. So rugby was quite popular, and I never did any the sports. I drank a lot of energy drinks, got fuck all sleep because I got given an iPad or an iPod, when I got into this school, and I was on it every night, so I got no sleep, made me very tired, and I just put on loads of weight, and I was probably actually fat until I went to sixth form at 16, and then I just lost weight, built muscle, and got pretty in shape for a year or two. When I started working though, I kind of put weight back on, and then I think it was COVID when I actually started seriously thinking about it again. Again, lost a load of weight during COVID. Took me all of about 3 months to basically get into pretty nice shape again, and then after COVID, came back into work, left work after a bit more time, maybe another year, if I remember right, and put weight back on. Then, after I went back into work and started working at where I am currently, I was quite heavy again. These are all times that my BMI has probably been closer to 30 than 25. So yeah, overweight, maybe like going into obese quite a lot of like childhood, and then coming back to this job, has really made me quite fit. For one thing, I do a lot of fucking steps every day. It's a rare day that I come out of the dealership with like less than about 12,000 steps done. I really don't think I've ever come out with less than 10. And then if I go to the gym and go for a 5k, I've usually done about 20,000 steps by the end of the day, actually, by the time I like get into my own house. It's a great feeling. It's such a great feeling to have a busy, active, productive day, to be neither working nor working out. Sorry, to be either working or working out feels really good. Obviously this is every other day, this is not every day. You burn out if you're doing it every day. And yeah, I lost a lot of weight before I got married. I went down from about 92 kilograms to about 81, or just shy of 81, which is why, if you're watching this, I can only recommend doing a carnivore diet. If you're trying to lose body fat, cardio and a carnivore diet, unbelievably good combo. Really good combo. I'm doing this very active job, doing about 15 to 20,000 steps a day. I try and go for like a run on top of this as well. I wasn't really doing any weightlifting, not any serious weightlifting, but I try and go for a run. But I'd like eat basically like 3 eggs in the morning, have quite a lot of coffee and water. I wasn't eating any lunch, and then have like a really big meal at the end of the day, like cheese, liver, so you can get your micronutrients in, a lot of like just chicken breasts and stuff like that, really simple stuff, just slapped into the oven, put on the grill. In 6 weeks I went from 92 kilos down to basically 18 a bit. That's like, for someone who struggled with having a bit of excess body fat, whether it's a lot or a little, my whole life, I really felt like I'd unlocked the jetpack cheat code in GTA San Andreas. I really felt as if I now know that if I ever need to shed a load of excess body fat, literally in a couple of months, I can literally do that. It's easy for me to slip back into doing cardio and carnivore. And I know the sort of diet plan that I just listed off, it sounds like I should be really hungry on that. The amount of fat and protein that you get in that diet and the absolute lack of carbs means that your satiety from a small meal is high. Like, you feel sated after a very small meal, when it's like literally 3 eggs or something like that. It's very effective. Sometimes at lunch, actually, I'd have like another block of cheese or something like that. But yeah, if you're watching this, you're struggling with excess body fat, carnivore diet, it absolutely, like, it will lower your metabolism because you're like going down to lower daily calories, which then means that like later on you are going to have to like start. You can't do it forever basically because it lowers your metabolism. And if you kept going down that route, you'd have to go less and less calories until you're at like an extremely low metabolism. You're tired all the time. You're chronically like fatigued, and you're like just to lose weight. So I can't recommend that you do it all the time, but starvation's a very effective weight burner. I've read quite a few studies on it. Don't let anyone tell you that it has like lasting effects, starvation. It's an inbuilt system for the body for a reason. There are no bad lasting effects to starvation. There really aren't. So as long as you've got a plan to get yourself out of it as well, don't get anorexia. I've been talking to quite a few friends recently. After that ramble, I've been talking to quite a few friends recently about Charlie Kirk. Now, the killing of Charlie Kirk, a moderate conservative with, the sort of politics that even if you are a left winger and you're watching this, Even if you're a left-winger, you probably hear his sort of politics coming out of your dad's mouth or your uncle's mouth or something like that. He wasn't a guy with unpopular views. He was a Christian. He believed his children should be the sex that they were assigned at birth and that they couldn't be changed, and that putting them through reassignment surgery and dosing them up on hormones is a bad idea. He was a man with common sense opinions. He was a man who did not believe that children had the sort of agency to make decisions like transgender reassignment surgery at a young age. He was a man who had the sorts of opinions that were just normal for a Democrat, an American Democrat, to have 20 years ago. Maintaining a strong border, maintaining that men are men and women are women, and maintaining that people should keep most of their money in a capitalist economy, and that businesses are ultimately good. And I think the ultimate sort of right-wing litmus test is whether you believe that, simply put, some people are better than others. And again, all these I think are just common sense things. You have to go through quite a bit of advanced 115 IQ midwit brainwashing to start thinking that the world is different. The world is different to that. You have to pay a lot of money and be educated by some of the finest, worst minds on the planet to start deluding yourself and convincing yourself that life is any different to, if you want to put it this way, what God has given you. And I know that he was the one thing that probably a lot of people are thinking about now is that he had an answer for everything, kind of. One of my friends said this, like, he had an answer for everything, and you need to understand how much that can rile people up. Yeah, he did have an answer for everything, because he was an educated young man, and he didn't back down. He was always ready there to do an unpopular thing, sit on a campus full of left-wingers and feminists and all this sort of nonsense, and he didn't get stage fright. The ultimate thing is, though, even with children, even with a wife, he never would have thought that someone is going to assassinate him. Someone tried to shoot Trump, but that's Trump. Someone tries to assassinate lots of presidents. Lots of presidents and presidential candidates have had assassination attempts. Charlie Kirk was just you or I, but with a big enough stage, and he was killed for it. And I think if you've read the book Same as Ever, which I highly recommend you doing, there's a book by Morgan Housel, who's the writer of The Psychology of Money. He wrote a second book, which I actually think is better. I do actually prefer Same as Ever. And the basic premise of Same as Ever is that, yes, like, most things are going the way that they will. Most things are going to continue going the way that they are right now. And you can't predict when it's going to change. Today, there's going to be some weird thing happen to you. Maybe there's 3 or 4 weird things happening to you, right? And the chances of it happening are 1 in 10. Now, if you expand that out to every person on the planet, they're all having 3, 4 or 5 just different, slightly weird things happening to each one of them, you're talking about 30 billion just slightly, 1 in 10 chance things happening to everybody each day. And then if you think about something for each one of these people being the chances of it happening are 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000. Well, now you got down to 40 million weird things that are 1 in 10,000. You take it down to 1 in 10 million chances. Well, now there's 40,000 of these things happening. You take it down to 1 in 10 billion chances, and now there's 40 things of these happening. 40 of these things happening or 30 of these things happening every day. And every so often, the stars align, and a totally weird thing that no one could have predicted just breaks the system that was running basically perfectly smoothly at 99.999999% efficiency, and you get the shooting of Franz Ferdinand that sparked World War I. You get the stock market crash that drove America into a depression and actually helped Hitler get into power. I think Charlie Kirk's killing, his murder, is one of those things. I think the murder of Kirk is going to be one of these events that has ripple effects and might change the world for a couple of reasons. And one of these things was brought up by a really good friend of mine yesterday. Here in the UK, this Saturday, there is a big freedom of speech festival going on down in London. There's estimated the estimate is that there's going to be 1 million people there. I don't think Tommy Robinson as well, if you're familiar with that name as well, I think that he is going to be there as well. I don't think it would be 1 million people if Charlie Kirk hadn't been shot. But his normal views, people are now realising that normal views get you shot and your death celebrated by freaks, by people who have never been told that they're wrong, have never thought otherwise, never allowed themselves to think otherwise, and they are wrong, like they are actually factually wrong, but they are so convinced that with enough force, the world could be moulded into their image and that we all need to be changed so that they can be right. There's quite a lot of those people out there, and they're the ones who are celebrating the death of a father and a husband. Just think about that. Now, this Freedom of Speech Festival, I think, wouldn't have 1 million people if there wasn't now this mask-off moment that a lot of people have seen. That there's normal people that you might now see every day, like day to day, who always have the mind virus from They Live, who are celebrating this death. That's going to be massive. I think as well that this incident is going to have a big effect on a lot of Americans. I think they're going to realise that right now a big part of the country would have them dead, would have them shot in the neck in front of a live audience, so that they didn't have to hear you talk about trans people in a bad way. Not even a bad way. They didn't have to hear you questioning trans ideology. And all of this is just normal people's opinions, but the fact that the guy had a stage meant that everyone heard it. So I think that the death of basically such a promising young guy and its celebration is just, it really does show that there's there is actually a lot of evil in the world. And if you in the Bible, that passage, by their fruits you shall know them, for lack of a better term, we are living alongside demons right now. TikTok addicted demons who, when they're given the position of a nurse or a teacher, would abuse that position, force you onto a ventilator when you're helpless, make your children think that they would rather play with a Barbie doll than an action man, and that means something really different, that means that they're special and actually they're trapped in the wrong body. There's an awful lot of reason to maybe look at getting yourself in the gym. Maybe look at getting out the house, picking up hobbies about productivity in a very survivalist sense, because I can't shake the feeling, and I've been saying this to people, that this goes quite badly now. I think this might be something that goes quite badly for the US. I mean, civil war, I've used the phrase on this channel already once, but it felt so far away then. That was a week ago. Now it feels like it could be right next to us. It could be big. There could, like, this 1 million person protest down in London. Fucking God knows what's going to happen there. In America, I'm just saying something big could happen if another protest or a free speech protest in Charlie's memory takes off. You ought to be prepared to defend yourself, your property. When I say everything that makes you you, I mean your house, I mean your property, and you need to also have some skills. And one of those is the skill to take care of yourself. See you later.